describe what it means if you're waiting for a property value to go lower. What would that categorize you? And that's a good shift into what types of buyers are out there in the market. Valid question. And I'm going to tear it apart for your sake. Is that okay? Fantastic question. Does everybody understand what she said? How do you know today's the right day to buy versus tomorrow? Ryan, you want to answer that for us?
No, I'm going to videotape. I want to listen to you.
Is that because you don't know or you just don't know?
No, I do know. It's
Okay.
a lot of it's interest rates. I mean, right now, if you are looking at the finance route, I mean, interest rates are at a historic low. Inventory's up, and we were talking about a property that you guys were looking at.
Right.
One that we were looking at when you were out with Doug. Backs to an old Tudor time down in Maricopa.
Okay.
And I told, back in 05 or 06 when the home was built, it didn't matter. I mean, if you could get that house, if your number was drawn and that was your lot, you're taking it. There's a lot that I don't even really care that there's going to be a school behind me. It's just, I'm going to take it. Now, with the inventory where it's at, that home's going to sit on the market. It's going to drop, and even if you pick that up and put it on the rental market, they're just going to go find another one, and it's just, if you're renting that house for $800 market value, you can expect to take a good whack at that. You're not going to get $800 market value for it. You might get $700, maybe even $650, just for that simple fact that it now backs to some silly school that didn't really matter in 05 because I got the house, great. So
Absolutely. So multiple factors, but here's the big tsunami, if you will. Okay, how many of you can time the market? Raise your hand. Huh? Anybody? Anybody even want to try?
If you could time it, we'd all be right.
Exactly. Right? And since we're all not, there's an obvious thing, you can't. Okay, so let's prove it. Let's prove it. Somebody yell stop when I'm about to shift. I didn't catch it. Okay, do it again. Stop. Almost, that was close. See if you can do it again. Stop. Missed it. Good try. So we're 0 for 3, we keep going. I mean, it's literally that hard. Now, it sounds great in a drawing on the board, but you're like, yeah, but in real life, we got to be more realistic with our money, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and I acknowledge that. And the reality is, and the experience of the market tells us that no matter, there's such a wide range of that little bottom, that right there is not a one-day thing. Sometimes it's a 2.5 year deal. And that's why it's so hard to see what's going on. And it's pocket specific. Maricopa, Queen Creek, Goodyear, Surprise, Paradise. There's so many factors going on, plus all of that business, that you just really can't. So you got to just stay empowered until you feel and know that your model works with the price point you're at. So that if it does depreciate, you're not losing. It was based on a cash flow model in the first place. See me? See what I'm saying? Okay. Now, I'm not saying a first-time home buyer is going to agree with that, but an investor, definitely it fits that model. So since you can't time it, let me talk about some things before I go into types of buyers in the distressed property market. 2007, I personally had 28 properties that I owned. 9 of them were $1 million plus in value. Okay? And they were all rentals at some level. Okay? January 1, 2007, I felt the earthquake. Full-time investor, 28 properties. Between my wife and I in the mortgage business and flipping properties and rental properties, about $80,000 a month. Okay? Consistently for like 3 years. Overnight, $0 income. There was I estimate between January 1st and March 31st of 07, or 30th, that half the mortgage companies in America went out of business in that 3-month period. Now it's an estimate. It might be 28 or it might be 75. It was a significant number. Okay? Now we were wrapped up in it because I had everything leveraged and my income was based on properties continuing to sell and flip and everything. I got into speculation. I'd like you to write that down. Speculation equals gambling equals Vegas equals give Mark your money. Okay? I got caught. On the other hand, if you were a real estate agent and you had a business of buyers and normal sellers and that type thing that weren't too significantly in the distressed property market, they didn't even know the market shifted until early '08. You interview the agents around here and ask them what their income looked like in late '06, early '07, middle '07, late last quarter '07. They didn't see their income drop until last quarter '07. How can that be? Well, there was a lag because this was so based on continual moving properties. And although the mortgage market started shaking, it started shaking for investment properties. Regular buyers were still putting money down, they were still doing that. And so the pipelines for the real estate agents, they didn't feel the slowdown until late '07, early '08. And you ask around, you'll see it occur and occur and occur. And that's why we can't time this thing, no matter who we are. It's one of the many factors. Y'all with me? Y'all okay taking my word for that? Because there was a lot of pain involved in it. A lot.